Hello everybody, this is Ilaria. I'm a spiritual mentor and I am a relationship mentor, conscious relationship mentor. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that I found it's very vibrant and alive in our relationship and in our willingness to live them consciously. And to me, what I'm noticing is at a collective level, what is really happening and what is helping the awakening of more and more people is the integration of the feminine aspect of ourselves. The feminine and the masculine aspect are two aspects present in each and every being. And the feminine aspect is an aspect that has been, I would say, denied or undervalued for a long time. And it's the door to access to our self-awareness and to the awareness of the self. In the feminine aspect development inside of us, one of the most important keys is the disponibility, the capacity to embrace all the aspects of ourselves, is the willingness to recompose lost parts of ourselves and to bring the attention where there has been denial and run away from. So the feminine aspect consists of the consciousness of our emotional world. Emotions are the response at a physical level and energetical level of our perceptions. The way we perceive things provoke an emotion within us. What we generally have been conditioned to do for lack of better understanding and lack of knowing how, it has been to distract ourselves from all the perceived uncomfortable emotion. It's a very innate, I would say, survival mechanism in a human being to move from pain to pleasure, to lead in the direction of an increased well-being. But the misunderstanding that we can't deny what is present in order to reach the well-being that we saw at the core of ourselves, we want to come back to. In my opinion, it doesn't serve the evolution of our own self-awakening. I deeply believe that in order for us to bring the light in the shadow, we need to be brave enough to go to meet the shadow. What is the shadow? The shadow is the unconscious part of ourselves. Is the response to what happens, and it has happened around us or within us, which lacked, who didn't have the tools to read it, interpret it in a conscious way. We all chose the path of forgetfulness here. So we arrive with the heartbeat open and an innate knowing of our value and of our real nature, but then very soon we start to be conditioned by the observation of the people around us that forgot their nature to build an idea of who we are, of what life is about, of what other people are, of assigning a meaning which is not aligned on truth. So all of our interpretation have been misleaded from the false premises of ignoring our real nature. what happens when a negative emotion shows up, uncomfortable emotion. Let's go over negative and positive, but for the purpose of understanding the difference between, I would say, a light emotion and a much more heavy one. We can use that term and be comfortable anyway, knowing that it is not about judging, it's about discerning a difference. And when that uncomfortable emotion show up, is generally related to an interpretation that is running in our mind, which is an interpretation and that we have built at one point in time, and then it started to repeat itself unconsciously and almost automatically while meeting situations that resonate with that first condition. While we start to wake up to our infinite nature and to the infinite dimension of our being, all the work that we do is to align this unconscious part on the refound truth. And if we run away from the uncomfort, we lose the chance every time. The well-being that we so want to experience because is our real nature need to pass through what is present. So how this is related to relationship and how we live consciously relationship. Well, the false premise on which the way we live relationship is based on, one of the biggest conditioning, is that relationships are supposed to make us feel good. And when the uncomfort shows up, uncomfortable emotion, uncomfortable behavior, that is the sign that this relationship is not working, which is not, that is not a good one. Now, even if to some extent this could be true, but we need to discern, starting by embracing another perspective, another way of seeing relationship, and really understanding the purpose of the uncomfort that show up inevitably in all relationship. I say inevitably because unless we are a completely enlightened being, a completely aligned on our true nature beings, relationships are the trigger number one to our unconscious parts, to our shadow, to our wounds, to our false beliefs. They are a mirror constantly of where we are in relationship to the remembrance of our real nature. So the uncomfort is a signal that there is something there that needs to be realigned. How does it change the way we relate to the person that we have believed, we have conditioned to believe to be the source of our painful emotion? And let's stop there a moment, because this is another big false premise that is very important to deconstruct. We have believed that if I feel sadness or I feel rejected, the cause of what I'm feeling is in the other one, is in the behavior that I am thinking to be the source of this emotion. There is no distance between what I perceive is happening and what I'm feeling. But I underline this word, perceiving. What is happening and how I am perceiving what is happening are two different things. And the understanding that there are things happening, facts, and there is my way of interpreting what's happening is the key to freedom, because all form of source come from the way I am adopting to interpret the situation, and I have full freedom on it, while I don't have freedom on the external condition, on a person's behavior. I do have total freedom and total power, and actually it's my own responsibility how I perceive what happened. So the way out to suffering is in my own hands. If I can remember what is happening and how I am interpreting what is happening are two different things, I will also free the person up from the belief this is the cause of my pain. Most of the relationship stop to grow because we deeply believe the other one has the power to determine how I feel, and is actually the cause of the pain I'm feeling. The pain is real. I'm not saying it's an illusion. I'm just saying it's not because of what we thought. And if we can create a space in which this pain is allowed to show up with an attitude of sort of welcoming, because it's bringing a possibility for healing. When the pain show up, it means an unconscious part of myself is asking me to be met. And if I can see it that way and accept the meeting, knowing that I am the one that can heal or realign or bring the light on that part, then any opportunity, it's a blessing. And the other one stopped to be an enemy or the responsible for my happiness and unhappiness. This is another premise. I am responsible for how another feels, and he is responsible for how I feel. How much freedom is left in that way of seeing things? If I am responsible for how I feel, because how I feel is totally, completely related to my own perception, then we are free. We are free to feel whatever arises and to use it to bring a consciousness. And then we can share what's going on, what is arising. I can share my fear. I can share my sadness. I can share whatever is this emotion that I'm meeting, but it's no longer from a imprisoned state that want to imprison the other one or find a guilty one. It's a sharing which is intimacy, which is I trust you and I am so on the way, at least, to completely accept that I'm a human and I do have conscious and unconscious parts. And this is the life journey. It's like this for everybody. Then in this all acceptance, I can dance as I am with another one and share what I generally tend to hide. Or about our unconscious part, we assume two main reactions. One is denial. I pretend it's not there. And the other one is the attack. You are the one which is responsible for how I feel, so you need to change it, do something about it so I can feel better. And there is the third way, which is what is arising through the exchange. I own it. It's mine. It's my perception. It comes from my history, my childhood experience. I'm curious. I'm willing to go to meet this part of myself and to bring attention there and to bring love and compassion there and to bring a new truth there. And I am willing, if you want to share this journey with you, all the part of my journey, not just the perfect self, not just the conscious self, all that we are. I am willing to let the mask down and be real and be free and let you be free. In this way, relationship, an enormous tool for healing and awakening, and a sharing to another all level, the truth of our divinity and of our humanness. That there an unconditional love can blossom from within and into relationship. We can hold space for the pain that the other one is facing. We can be compassionate and be there, no longer feeling we are the cause or we are the savior. Just be present and compassionate and understanding, and be willing to do the same. If we feel we can trust enough to share what is much more vulnerable. That's the key of the feminine. That is such a deep attitude of healing. This is what I call be willing to be vulnerable in relationship. If you need more help with that, to navigate your relationship in a much more conscious way and not get in that trap of be conscious when we are on the meditation pillow and then meet our boyfriend or girlfriend, just find ourselves go crazy, completely identified with all wounds and deteriorating the exchange until it becomes too hard to come back to a place of respect and love and sharing. So if you need help with that, contact me. There is my website under the video, or come one of the event and we will journey together into this anchoring of a new way of relating, conscious relationships. Thanks so much for your attention.